Oh yeah. So I ended the last video of talking about these tattoos, a lot of them. So I mentioned the woman FaceTiming me on Good Friday. She never FaceTimes me. That's my ex before the love of my life. The same one that I tried to make jealous of the love of my life. And I still love her, and I still have a communication relationship with her. We live a long way apart physically, but these tattoos are about an attack that the demonic put on me through her, and I'll get into that in the chronology after my divorce on the as I get into the story. But anyway, she never FaceTimes me. As I said in the last video, she FaceTimed me on Good Friday, and she never FaceTimes me. She didn't FaceTime me since the love of my life and I separated. She called me to comfort me after her and I separated, and that was January, first week of January 2023, and then she just decides to FaceTime me on Good Friday. She says, "Do you mind if we FaceTime a bit?" And when she FaceTimes me, I know I'm not dealing with her. And I know that, and I'll get into that at a later time. And then soon as I'm FaceTiming with her, he pulls up on me. And then I challenged him to an altercation. He pulled a 9 out on me, and then we ended up squashing it, thankfully. I mean, I was ready in that moment if he chose to pull it on me and finish me. Truthfully, I was so miserable anyway without my baby and in my addiction. If he pulled, and he kind of knew that too. That's why he just wanted to intimidate me. I challenged him to the fade. He said, "Oh, you gonna put hands on me?" And he pulled out on me. So it was like, that was like on the lines of, you trip on me. He always used to say, "I'll trip 10 times harder on you." So, and I just backed down. I got out of this vehicle and I went to talk to him in his. He kept it on him, but he knew I wasn't gonna. And then we ended with a hug. That's the sick trauma bond that he had with me. He gets out and he says, "Now I have to give you a hug." And that was just how it was. And then I challenged him. I said, "You did this and you did that." And he laughed and he put his head down. And I was the last time I ever physically interacted with him. And then I said, "Now you leave her alone," referring to the love of my life's baby sister, her younger sister. I said, "Leave her alone." He said, "I can't let it go." And I said, "Man, just go. You have so much talent. Go into another town. Go somewhere else. You got connections. Set up your life and live a better life." And he said, "I can't let this go." And then, in my mind, I'm just not living right. And then I'm thinking of the resentment I have toward the love of my life. And I have some resentment toward her baby sister, which is wrong. There's no justifying. I'm justifying his evil. That's why I said that I was involved in this too. I'm enabling a man who's evil to do evil against a woman. For real. And I have to live with that. And I ask for forgiveness on that. And anyway, I even, went to visit him when he initially got incarcerated, and I'll get into that at a later time. But the point being is that whole situation was they don't attack on those. She wouldn't FaceTime me unless it was Good Friday. It was all a network to injure me and to injure the love of my life's sister. And in love of my life's sister, she's not a practicing Christian. She's got her own doctrine, but she is got a lamb spirit, like I do, like we all do. We all do, whether we think we don't or not. Even him. He's still, Jeffrey Dahmer turned it around. Yes, this is real. So all we have to do is ask. He just won't ask. He's just stubborn. And he likes get back, and he likes vengeance, and he believes in harming women and children. He even said to me after he pulled that 9 on me, he said, "Anyone can get it." I don't roll like that. I'm not going to go out. I might psychologically abuse a woman. I might say something that upsets a child, but I'm not going to put hands on a woman unless it's, her and I having our intimacy. But I'm talking about, I'm not going to put hands to intimidate. I'm not going to put hands on a child. I'm not going to put hands on an animal. I'm not going to do those things. I will never do those things, ever. And it's a horrible thing. And we have to pay the price when we do those things. And he went and he believed that that's okay, and he still believes that's okay. That's why he has to be where he is right now. He's can't be. He's like the dog that will bite its owner. It's like They always say a pit bull would never turn on its owner, but oppress a canario would. I mean, that's a bad example, but I'm just saying. So this is hard for me to get out. I'm trying here. So how did I get proof that Jesus was the truth? That's it. He doesn't move during the day, and he goes to try to take her life at her home with her son's father present, and he never is around when that man's present. The wolf of Satan came at 3 p.m. on Easter Sunday? No. It was an anti-Christian act. The woman I love that these tattoos represent, before the love of my life, she absolutely detests my Lord Jesus. She's by her own admission. We were together one night in my old place I was renting up in Reading, and there was a church behind my house. I can't tell you the things I saw come out of her mouth, and it was not human. And I love her. When those entities start working, it's real. What I saw from her, what I heard come out of her mouth, as I share later about her and I, this is not anything other than real. People just tell me, like they told me when they took me in, all those things you saw in the house, the black orbs, all them things, the smell, they said that's just a hallucination. They said what you saw was a hallucination. Yeah, they're never going to tell me that this is real. But people that have experienced it, like the lady on, shout out to her on the Armor Up podcast, there's a lot of people that have experienced it. Mark the Messenger. People who've experienced the demonic. People have experienced evil people. Joe Rogan talks about it, and I brought that up. But he's got all this comfort around him to self-care when they attack. They attacked him. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't wrong. He said the M-word, and he said horrible things. And he thought he could get away with it. And then he started crying. And I'm not speaking his truth, but I remember him crying, seeking an apology. And, I commend him for that. Even though President Trump, I'm going to get political, told him not to apologize, I commend him for crying and apologizing, and he meant it. And that's why he still has his podcast. And he changed things. He's talking about the attack that Lucifer is putting on humanity, and it's brave of him to do that. Now, I'm not a fan of his. I'm not a fan of anybody. I'm only a man. I don't believe in pedestalizing humans anymore. I used to. I love humans. There's people I love, and there's people that I have an admiration for their resume, him being one of them, the love of my life being one of them, her sister being one of them, my ex-wife being one of them, a few of my brothers. Yes, but I don't pedestalize humans, but I'm just saying, these are real things. People don't want to, they want to just make it all about the flesh. Oh, no, he just got mental illness. Let's get him in the face. Just autism. No. That's, autism is a result of trauma from the demonic. I know this for a fact. Schizophrenia is tormenting by the demonic. Sociopathy, psychopathy, those things, just say you're born with that psychopathic issue with your brain, that had to do with some demonic attack that your mom suffered when you were in her womb. Yeah. Sociopathy, resulting of trauma, and then turning evil, you're embracing the demonic. You chose to be evil. Narcissism that's overt and even covert, that's just deadly, that's all demonic. People don't want to see that. They'll just want to just strictly keep it on the flesh. I'm not trying to, a man who Lucifer used to speak to me said to me, "You're just trying to convince people." And I told him that I'm not. I lied to him. He's right. I am trying to convince people. That's my job as a Christian. And he did say that. He said, it's your job as a Christian to try to convince people. He's right. I just didn't want to make waves with him. I was passive aggressive with him. And that's what I did with the love of my life and her sister. I was passive aggressive. That ain't right to be. I was wrong. And I actually apologized to that man for being passive aggressive later. And I'll keep it like that because I was. I have to speak up. And I'm going to share this experience even if it ends my flesh. My intentions are good. My intentions are to help, not hurt. I'm going to do everything to keep my ego in check as I do this. Next coming up.